Well, hello and welcome, gorgeous, gorgeous people. I've got a great show for you today. I've got lots of fabulous information for you today. Look, lots of bling on today that you can take a look at. Not standing up and showing you, but you'll be able to zoom in on this or whatever you do to have a little look at what I have on. But I have a fabulous show for you today, and welcome to Wednesdays with Wallis. I am your host, Wallis Patterson, and the founder of Bold Not Old. Welcome again. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget, like and subscribe. And on the video, the girl will put in the ding, and you'll be able to be reminded to go and do that. So I'm going to get right to it. Let's just briefly recap on weeks 1, 2, and 3, which were all about finding your thing. What have you got to bring? And it may be a skill. It could be something you've always wanted to do, but we won't go back over all of that. But that was sort of week 1 encapsulated. I got on to talking about, just have a little check of the time for us. I got on to talking about what's your thing. Find what your thing is, and we can then talk about how get that out into the marketplace and become known and become the authority figure for that, even if a squillion other people are doing similar or same, they're not you. Okay, so that's just briefly, just going a little back on that one. We came forward and we talked about and recapped on the sorts of things that you could do, the sorts of things if you are already involved in certain things, what you could be doing, and the sorts of things that you could be doing to earn multiple streams of income, creating a online business for yourself, and whole idea of creating a side hustle. And I think that, and I'm still honestly totally committed to knowing that we have to create some additional income for ourselves. And that doesn't matter how old we are or what we're doing. We'd be better off if we're more entrepreneurial and we create an entrepreneurial endeavor for ourselves. We could be talking on that for the next 2 or 3 hours. Of course, I'm not going to, but I could be. And the reason being is that it's a huge area and it warrants, some really serious thinking around it. And I'd like you to go off and do that, would you? Okay, then we came forward to last week and I introduced this whole idea of multiple streams of income. And the multiple streams of income I talked about were things like you could be, if you really, really think, I need the practice, I need to do some more things. One is you need to educate yourself. We're going to be talking about that a little way down the line. I'm not here to do the big sell on you, so don't run off thinking Wallis is going to get to a big sell. She isn't, but I am going to hopefully point you in the right direction where you can make some decisions for yourself about getting some more education and doing some more things, filling in the gaps. You need to fill in the gaps. If I can tell you anything, you need to do that. It was not all that long ago. I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always done lots of different things. When I was a kid, I used to sell guinea pigs to the kids at school, pigeons, any let off the roof, anything that I could turn my hand to that would create a few shillings really stroked my entrepreneurial spirit. That's what I did, and I loved it, and I loved being entrepreneurial, and as long as I can remember, I always have been, even when I've gone and worked at jobs. I hated being bossed around. I hated being told what to do, and not that I minded being shown something, but I hated being told. And I'm still that way, but I hate being told what to do and I hate being shut on, but I don't mind being chat in a discussion. I'm very open-minded. I am a very, very open-minded person. And in fact, pardon me, I like to look at myself that I'm a very intentional person and I have good intentions. I might come across sometimes as a little bit in your face and a little bit abrupt, but there's no malice in that. I don't mean any ill intent, but I'm also aware that not everybody likes me and not everybody is going to like me or love me, and that's okay because we live in a world and lots of well-intentioned people out there who want to tell you what to do and they want to tell you how to run your life, and they also want to be telling you what you can and cannot make money out of, and they're all experts, and I won't mention the thing that I usually mention there, and that's up to you whether you listen to that or not. I'm suggesting don't, and I'd like to be very firm about that. Don't go listening to what everybody else has said. Okay, so I want to get on with this whole thing about why I think you should be looking at doing something for yourself. And I guess this video is about saying, are you in love with your life? Do you love your life and you wouldn't trade it for anything, and it's nothing else that you want out of it, and it's all honky-dory, it's absolutely perfect, it's your ideal world. If you're living in that one, well then kick this to the curb. It's not for you. It's not something that will resonate or you'll really like or want to listen to. Okay, so what is your life like right now? As I said, is it the life that you really want? Is it full of your dreams? And I mean, when I talk about dreams, I like to talk about it in this way. I like to look at life as having big, audacious dreams. Piddly, pissy little dreams. Oh, look, no, all I want for Christmas is me 2 front teeth. You know, have big, audacious dreams, you know, so you've got something to really, really dream into. And I want you to do this. I want you to take some time and remember who you were before the world around you, the people around you, society around you, the community around you, before those people told you who you should be. Who were you? So I want you to have a little think about that. Who were you before the world told you who you were to be? And you might find that an enormous realisation. You might find that amazing. You might think to yourself, wow, well, I was a lot bloody different than what I am today. Well, exactly. So do you think you might pick out 3 of those things? Pick out 3 of those things of who you were. Pick out 3 of those things and bring them into the present. Bring them into your current life. Were you happy, go lucky, and loved everything around you, and you've become a curmudgeon and disgruntled and complaining and whinging and whining about everything? Might be time for a big change, sweetheart. Might be time to think and do something else, because that won't be serving you. Those sorts of things don't serve us well. I was writing some little notes down this morning to keep me on track and to help me inspire you, and help me maybe pass on some things that could be helpful and could be uplifting. Why not? I want to be uplifting. I want to give you some really, really good things to think about. I want to give you things to go on with. I'm just having a little look at my notes. I don't have them in front of me on the computer. I do have things that I've written down. I like to write things down and go, okay, let me talk about that. And, the story that you tell yourself here is one that I want you to realise is of value. Is the story you're telling yourself of value? What is it that you want? Why would you want to be doing something for yourself? Why not sitting on your hands and all that? What are the reasons? I want you to dig a little deep in this. What are the reasons that your life isn't as glamorous or as wonderful or as spectacular as you'd like it to be? I came across all this stuff. I had to really dig, because I've always been one of these people where I've achieved a lot of things, but when I've achieved things, excuse me, out comes the tissue. When I've achieved these things, I've tended to go, oh, well, ho-hum, next, what's next? And I've moved on from them and the achievement of it fairly quickly. And that's not good. That hasn't served me well, because it hasn't had me stop and go, well, what was that good, Wallis? Was that fabulous? Was that amazing? Pat yourself on the back, kid, for achieving that. That's pretty spectacular. And doing that also helps us not get into comparing ourselves to other people, not get into, I wouldn't be able to do that because I didn't get an education, or I didn't go further than whatever. Well, it's a load of crap. And I'm going to debunk it and tell you it's a load of crap. And the reason I know it's a lot of crap is I don't talk about anything that I haven't experienced. Yes, I've read a lot of books. Yes, I've read an amazing amount of things, and I've gone to, I've done all sorts of things. But everything I'm sharing comes from experience. And the experience around what I just said to you is this. I left school when I was 14 years of age. I was told I went back to school for another year or so. There was a breakup in the family, and in those days, boys were kept at school and the girls, well, one day they were going to get married. Some fellow was going to come along and rescue them, take them off your hands. If you're a little bit older, you will understand what I'm saying here. So I was born in that era of time. It was a bit debilitating, really, in lots of ways, and it certainly was degrading. And you had to have a lot of tenacity and goals and the will to overcome those sorts of ridiculous things that were going on. But anyway, I had two brothers. The boys were all good. They were going to school. I wanted to be a boy because I wanted their life. But anyway, I did go back to school at one time, and my burn was that I wanted to be a barrister. I wanted to be a lawyer and then a barrister. And in those days, they did a vocational thing where they tested you on your IQ and how bright you were. I failed miserably. That wiped me out for about 16 years. So until I was in my early 30s, I believed that. I bought that nonsense. I bought all that rubbish. I didn't think I was very bright. I thought I was pretty stupid, actually. And I suppose, as life would have it, you do lots of things that reinforce that with yourself. You become a victim. You reinforce the stupidity of life, or the things that you've been told. And, I got caught up in that. We'll talk more about that one day. But anyway, I got caught up in all that. But here's the kicker. I didn't stay there. It might have taken me a number of years to get my act together and find myself and get back to, can come out of a very abusive relationship. So with the women out there that have I've been there, done that, very abusive. When I finally got my act together and I finally got out of all that, I was probably 30 years of age or thereabouts. I decided that perhaps I was reasonably bright, and I finished up going back to school, and I went back to university. I got in as an adult, and I did some university, and then I still hadn't progressed enough in myself, and I dropped out of that. Off I went again. But by the time I got to my late 40s, around 50 years of age actually, I decided that I had a real burn to have an education. I just wanted to achieve that for myself. And I suppose I was chasing, in a way, being, looking at some value for myself, trying to convince myself I was worthwhile. Thought if I had all those certificates, then people would realise I was worthwhile. It's a load of rubbish. It's just a story. But I did go back to school, and I did a combined arts law degree, and and I did some other things. I also did counselling. I did a whole lot of education. I have a Bachelor of Business Administration as well, and I have a whole bunch of things. So all the things I'm talking about, and certainly business, entrepreneurship, all that, I'm pretty qualified at. I know what I'm talking about, and I can certainly share with you some very, very valuable things. But the thing I want to leave you with, because it seems to me that I chatter on and then run out of time, but I want you to stick around. Come back, listen to more of Wednesdays with Wallis, and tap into some very valuable and wonderful information that I'm going to keep expanding on over these next few weeks. So I'm going to reiterate again. I want you to go away and think about, who were you before everybody told you who you should be? Will you? Go away and think about that. We're going to talk this whole area of online business, how to get into it, what to do with it, where to go. I'm going to point you in the right direction. I'm going to help you. If I was there physically and I had to drag you kicking, screaming to change your life and be happy and have an amazing, fabulous life, I would. But perhaps I can do that verbally, and that might have some impact on your life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you. And I want you to have the most amazing week. Until next week, this is Wallis signing off of Wednesdays with Wallis. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave comments, because I will answer you. I will come back to you. Enjoy your week. Bye for now.